y'all, welcome or welcome back. Welcome to 2023. I have finally made it back on YouTube, and today I'm going to be talking with you guys about why I chose to homeschool. I think now is a good time to kind of reflect on that, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a minute, so stick around. So I'm not really like a New Year's resolution kind of gal. I'm not like a hashtag New Year, New Me person. I never have been. I do think there is value in assessing the prior year and kind of looking into the new year and are there some goals, or are there things you'd like to change, all of that kind of stuff. So I guess that's kind of a resolution, but I guess I just don't make a running list, I just don't have like checkpoints of things. And I have, over the last couple of years, I have seen this ongoing trend, imagine that, of like a word of the year, right? And so I thought, okay, maybe that's something I can get behind. Maybe I can get behind a word of the year. And so the word that keeps coming to me for this year is refine. Refine. I believe that is going to be my word of the year. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in tomorrow's video. I'm going to be giving you guys an update, all of that stuff, because it's been a little while since I've been on YouTube. So if you're still with me, thank you. And I am so glad to be back. But today's video specifically, I want to talk about why I chose to homeschool, and then you'll see why refine is my word of the year. And I think the main thing is I want to take this time to remember why I started homeschooling and what can I do to make sure that we're actually moving in that direction, or those are things we have incorporated in our homeschool, that kind of stuff. Before I tell you guys, I do want you to know this video is in collaboration with Leilani over at Living with Eve. She obviously came up with this idea, and I thought this would be a really great way to get back on YouTube. It's the beginning of the year, all of that stuff. And I want you guys to also let me know what your whys are, or maybe one big one or something like that. But just leave in the comments what some of your whys are. Now, I could have written a list down, but why write lists and stay on track when you can just chit chat, right? So that's really just what I'm going to be doing here. This is going to be, what's the word? Is it ad lib? We're just going to ad lib. We're just going to go with it. We're going to go with the flow. We're going to see what happens. Speak from the heart, as they like to say. So one big why. Okay, we'll start with this one. So a little backstory here that will kind of give you information into my first why. And maybe hopefully make sense, is I was not homeschooled. My husband was not homeschooled. We don't know anyone. Well, we didn't until last year when we started our co-op and we started getting, meeting new friends and stuff. We didn't know anybody that homeschooled outside of one family member on my husband's side. But growing up, and I don't want to give you guys my whole life story because we'll literally be here forever. But basically, I was part of the generation that you didn't really have a choice. You either went to college or you went to college. Or you could go in the military. That way the military could pay for college, right? So there was nothing, that's what you did. And I had to start thinking about that when I was a freshman in high school, right? So whatever it is, 14, 15 years old, I think it's more like 14. I have to have my life planned, and I got to know what I want to do. And I have to start taking classes now so that I could get a scholarship, so that that could put me 2 years ahead. And then now I'm done with college, and 18 years old, here I am in a full-time career making 6 figures, and life's going to be great. And in 10 years, I'll be a millionaire and take care of my parents. Yep. So, clearly that is not how that went. But that was kind of the perception. That was the idea. That was essentially what was expected, right? And I remember being so lost. I was so confused. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't have time to figure out what I wanted to do. Public school at that point, we had auto mech. So if I wanted to work on cars, I could take a class period in that. And we had carpentry. So if I wanted to build houses or lay floors or whatever, I could do a class period in that. Which is not actually what they did. That's what my husband did. And he'd spent 2 class periods there, and they just, worked on their trucks and built ring boxes for their moms. And, they didn't actually do anything as far as learning the trade is concerned, but that's besides the point. What I'm getting at, long story short, is I remember being so lost and so confused because I was not given an opportunity to explore any of the things that I potentially could be interested in. I didn't even know what I liked at that point. Let's be honest, come my junior year, really after my sophomore year of high school, I was done. I was not interested. I didn't enjoy it anymore. I didn't really care. And then my junior year, my sophomore year, I still was trying to take some college classes, and because I didn't have any direction. It just felt like I was wasting my time there because I didn't know what I was doing. So my junior year was the same kind of thing. I went back to just my classes I needed for graduation and stuff like that. And I just got through it. And then my senior year, I only went to 2 class periods because I also had a full-time job at that time. All my friends had already graduated. And so I was just done. I was so done with it. And then I did go to college because, like I said, I didn't have a choice. I went to college for 5 years, never graduated, don't have an associate's degree, didn't do any of that stuff. And guess what? Now I stay at home and my husband makes the money and I do the homeschooling. So not at all what my parents had hoped and dreamed for me. And so I say all of that to say that is what I hope to prevent for my daughter. I hope that through our journey of homeschooling, I allow an environment to be created that she can pursue the things that she wants to. And right now it changes every day, right? We're into horses right now. And then in 2 weeks from now, it'll be something else. Last year it was dinosaurs. So it's going to change, but that's the beauty of it, especially when they're so small, everything is exciting and wonderful and grand and new. And there's so many possibilities. But I really, as she gets older, I want the opportunity to hone in on some of those things and really see what does this look like for you. And, through school, she can learn, about different career options, but also we can do career shadowing and things like that. And so that's one big thing is I just want the ability to follow her guidance or follow her directions, guide her. Really, I should probably be doing the guiding, but the interest-led learning type of deal, but with a little more structure than completely interest-led. But y'all know what I'm saying. I just want to be able to help her figure out the thing that she may want to do. And quite honestly, she may not know either, and that's okay. I want her to feel confident in that. I want her to know that it's okay if you don't know what your life is going to look like when you're 16 years old. You don't have to figure it out, because this is another thought that has gotten to me. Even a parent's best laid plans will not outweigh or outdo the call that God has placed on their child's life. So I can set her up and prepare her for success in whatever area, but God's call on her life will always be greater. And I want to be able to help that flourish in whatever way that looks. So if she just really wants to get married and have babies and be a stay-at-home mom, then I want to help her be confident in that. Now, homegirl's still gonna have to get a job for a while, till we meet our husband. We're not marrying the first man we meet, or, like, everything's gonna be within reason. But hopefully you guys hear my heart in that. I just want her to be able to have the option to explore what it is that she wants to do. Speaking of God's call on her life, that's another reason that we homeschool. And I say we very intentionally, because homeschooling was not just my choice. It was a choice that my husband and I made together. I initially had the thoughts, and I initially felt the tug to homeschool, but it very much was an open conversation. He and I went through lots of different YouTube videos, and we did lots of looking and things, and it was definitely an agreement that we came to together. Another reason why we chose to homeschool was because of a relationship with the Lord. I want my daughter to have that relationship, and I want to be able to help facilitate that for her, and I want to walk through that with her. And homeschooling is can be such a sanctifying process, just as marriage can be. And I know I've said this in previous videos, but it is so true. There have been so many times where I say these things to her. It's like Holy Spirit comes out, and I say this sentence, or I have these thoughts, and it is almost like he put a mirror in front of my face and said, yeah, this is for you too, And I am just really thankful for that. And so I want to be able to do that with her through the duration of her living in my home. And I think it's extremely important that I allow that kind of atmosphere in our home, and allow her to ask questions and look at things, and we talk about things, and give her guidance and direction when it comes to growing in her relationship with the Lord. I think we're going to stick with 3 whys. So this will be my third why. Otherwise, we'll probably be here for a little bit. But my third one, and this is probably going to be a common one. That's one thing I did not mention. There is, in the description, there's a whole playlist of other homeschool moms who are telling you their whys. So be sure to check that out. But I'm quite sure this one will come up a little bit in the playlist, and that is time. Right? Time is fleeting. Babies don't keep. We already know this. And I have one. And that's it. I got one shot to try and do it right, give it my all, do my best. And I can't imagine not being home with her. I know that is not everybody's situation. I did not grow up in a situation where my mom could stay home with me. My husband, he did. His mom stayed home with him, with him and his brothers for a long time. And then she went to work at the school board, where he was going to school. So she was at least seeing him every day, and they were off at the same time. So she was still very active in that. I didn't grow up that way. And so I understand what a gift and what a blessing it is to be able to stay home and homeschool my child. And I don't ever want to forget that, but I want to make the most of that as possible. I have been blessed with that. I have been given that opportunity. up to this point and for the foreseeable future, right? And so I want to enjoy that. I want to embrace it, and I want to do the field trips, and I want to do all the things, right? I can imagine when my daughter is a little bit older, like we go on cool vacations together as a family, and we learn different things then. And you know what I mean? Like that is my hope. That is my heart, that we can grow together as a family unit for the duration of her childhood, you know, and as she goes into her teen years and things like that. And I just think that's so special, and I am looking forward to that, and I want to make the most of it. Like I said, I just want to we'll keep it at 3. I think that's good. I think those are really my big ones anyway. And I do find that it is important to, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, think about those whys. When you're changing your curriculum, when you're changing your schedule, when you're doing all of those kinds of things, remember why you started homeschooling, why you've continued to homeschool, and are the changes that you're making, or the adjustments, or, you know, a new co-op that you're going into, or whatever it is, are those things pointing you closer to the direction that you want it to go in? And are you able to use those whys as a reason for doing that, right? So I want my daughter to grow a closer relationship with the Lord, and I want to facilitate that kind of atmosphere for her. So are the choices that I'm making allowing for that, or are they taking us away from those things? That's what I mean when you are thinking about your why before making adjustments and things like that. And so I felt that it was appropriate to do that, or talk about those now. Don't forget to leave me comments below on what some of your whys are. I just curious, would like to know some of your reasons for homeschooling. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.